111 days ago, New Iberia Senior High School football suffered a tragedy that shook the program and the community. Andrew Clay joins us tonight with the inspiring story of how the team found motivation in that loss. He's live in studio. Andrew.
Marcel, in August, Garen Lewis, a 17-year-old senior defensive back, was shot and killed. His coach, Kurt Ware, told me that his funeral was the low point for the team, but added that kids are resilient. And that proved true as the Jackets came together to play in Garen's honor. Senior night in high school football is supposed to be a celebration. But on this October night in New Iberia, a shadow loomed.
It brought back the memory, like, all right, he not suiting up with us again tonight. You could tell the look at him and his mom's face, it was just, they was wishing as much as us that Garen was there to play with us that night.
Garen Lewis was 17 years old when police found him shot dead inside his car.
Around 9:45 Friday night, 17-year-old Garen Lewis was found here in a vehicle.
I was in my house, I was watching TV, and then one of my friends called me who was also close to him, and he was like, hey man, like, he just told me what happened. And I just started crying and I couldn't believe it. And like, you can't prepare, like, and there's no way to prepare for a moment of that kind.
Tegan Bork was perhaps the closest teammate to Garen. The two had known each other for years. It was Garen who reached out to Tegan when he decided to return to NISH for his senior season.
Texting me like, hey, you think I'll be able to get on the football team, come back play with y'all? And I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to the coach, everything. And he ended up getting back on the team. And then it felt like we was growing that bond back together.
But the two never played a game together this year.
He was a little funny dude, man. Like, anytime you talk to Garen, it was always something positive, something funny. Though after he passed and coming back to school the next week, the desk on the side of me is empty.
Every day for the summer, he'll be asking me, and like he'll force me to go work out on the field even though I didn't want to. He was like, you gotta work out like it's your last. And it's crazy because like his last workout day came up in the summer.
New head coach Kurt Ware hadn't even opened fall camp yet when he faced a tragedy he couldn't prepare for.
You always stress about how important, Friday night is. It's such a big deal, and this is your senior year, and this and this. And at the end of the day, when something like that happens, you realize it's just a football game, and that there's a lot more important things in life.
As the days went by, it wasn't right. Like, you could tell the air around here just wouldn't feel right. But then a couple of guys got to get them with like, hey, we go play the season for him. And remembering him, and then every practice we went out there, we always said a prayer, we always kept him in mind with it, and we always just kept practice going.
But in tragedy, the Yellow Jackets found inspiration, and there was no better example of that than that emotional senior night game against Salford.
I think I had a little more to play for that game.
That night, moments after honoring their friend, the team played its most inspired football game of the season.
You're trying to get excited, you're excited for the game, it's your last home game. And then this kind of brings you back down to earth. I do think, obviously, it probably gave us some motivation for the game. We played probably one of our best games of the year. We played well.
Pursuing possession, Jackets, play action. Check this out, Matthew Thomas going up top. He's got a wide open man. The Yellow Jackets beat Salford that night 40-7. It was their most lopsided district win in 7 years.
I think he would have really been proud of me because I really like worked this year. My numbers, it's a big difference, and like I really had a motive to drive for him.
His jersey stayed in his locker throughout the season. So we come back here after a win, we grab his jersey. While as we turning up, as we dancing too, he's right there with us. We got him jumping up with us and keeping him there with us, alive with us.
That emotional night and win capped a season that nobody on that team will soon forget. Today, Garen would have turned 18 years old. Some of his friends and teammates visited his grave this evening. His dad, Raymond, told me first thing he would have done this morning was help Garen register to vote. For KATC Sports, I'm Andrew Clay.